All right, how about now? Let's try now. Can you guys hear me now? Can anybody hear me now? Let's try this. Yeah, all right, we got it. All right, second time's always the charm for this. All right, hi guys. My name is Cierra Runge and welcome to Fitter and Faster Fuel. Today, we are making pumpkin oatmeal flourless pancakes. And I made these this morning as a test batch for you guys, just so that I can show you later. And I had to really fight myself not to eat them. So, roadmap for today, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to go through the ingredient list. We're going to make some pumpkin oatmeal flourless pancakes. And then we're going to do some Q&A. And then at the end, I will be announcing the winner of the, there's a arena. Let me pull up the picture. It is a free arena carbon air racing suit. So somebody's going to be winning one of these by the end of this online course. So stick around. We'll do the comment thing. I'll pick from the comments, which you guys are really good at because you're super fast at it. And then somebody will be the lucky winner of a new arena suit. So that being said, that's the roadmap. And here we go. So today, guys, we're doing the pumpkin oatmeal flourless pancakes. And why flourless? You might be asking yourself that. So it's not necessarily because flour is bad. Sometimes what happens is when you get white flour, what happens is they strip the nutrients from the flour. So you're not really getting a lot of fuel. You're not getting a lot of nutrients from that flour. So by taking that out, adding your oatmeal, your pumpkin, which you guys remember, I have a reoccurring theme. It seems like milk, honey, and cinnamon. All these together make a really power-packed breakfast and pancake. So this is a great thing to have before practice. You can make them, put them in the fridge, and then microwave them in the morning. Take them with you at to morning practice. Hit them in the microwave. They're good day after. Really good for before a meet. This is power-packed with fuel, guys. So what ingredients do we have today? Obviously, like the name says, we've got oatmeal, which I have done in the past couple of my classes, but I want to drive home the importance of the oatmeal, guys. So it's a complex carb. So what that means is that it takes your body longer to break it down, which means that you get more energy for longer. So this is a very long-lasting fuel nutrient that'll take a while for your body to break down, which means you get more energy longer and more fuel for longer. So that's why oatmeal is really important and is a good breakfast and snack. So next ingredient we got is pumpkin puree. I know it's not Thanksgiving, but we're going to be using some pumpkin puree. So pumpkin puree and pumpkin in general is a great source of non-grain carbs, fiber, vitamins, and a whole other plethora of things. So it's super, super good for you. It's helpful with replenishing your tired, beat up muscles. So after practice, it gives you that fuel for before practice from the carbs, and it repairs your muscles. Super, super powerful fuel. Almost kind of looks like ice cream right now, right? Loaded with zinc, and that will help you fight off fatigue, so your body fatigue and certain illnesses. So that helps your immune system, which makes this kind of the power-packed punch of the pumpkin pancakes. Next ingredient, what we got? We got our cinnamon. Oop, I almost just dumped it everywhere. So cinnamon actually reduces muscle inflammation. So again, that's when your muscles get super beat up, and it takes the soreness and the swelling in your muscles down. So it eases your muscle soreness, which is what we like as swimmers because we get beat up a lot. Next ingredient is we got our milk. I'm going to be using cow's milk. If you are lactose intolerant, you can do cashew milk. And if you're vegan, I want you guys to do coconut milk. So any sort of milk is what you're looking for in this, but cow's milk is great protein and great calcium for building those strong bones. And then we've got our two rising ingredients. So this is baking powder and baking soda in here. I'm going to try not to tip it out. So, but this is what's going to make your pancakes more pancakey. And it'll kind of make it more fluffy than if we weren't to use any of this. Final ingredient is our honey. It keeps it sweet and is a natural sugar, not a refined sugar, which is what you want to stay away from. But it also provides energy and fuel to your body. The recipe should be on, everybody, should be on, I uploaded it this week because last week I didn't. So this week it should be sharing already, so you guys can download it down and, you know, make them whenever. Make them before practice, make it for meets, make it for whenever. So let's get started, shall we? All right. So look, come to my little workstation, my little kitchen. Welcome, guys. So the tools you'll be needing today: blender. And this is important for getting your oatmeal to pulse down almost like it's a flour. So what we're going to do is we're going to blend this up so that it's not as chunky. If you like your pancakes a little oatier, you can leave this more whole in when we do our pulsing. It's up to you guys on how you like your oat level in your pancakes. But you're going to need a blender, a good old spatula to mix, a good old spatula to flip, a pan to cook your pancakes in. I'm going to be using a nonstick. And if you don't have a nonstick, so one that looks like this, we're going to be putting coconut oil because these do have a tendency to stick. So just make sure that when you're cooking these on a normal pan that doesn't have the nonstick, put coconut oil in there or cooking oil and let it get kind of warm. And then you're going to wait, and I'll show you kind of some techniques on how to flip these pancakes and how to work these, but you're going to wait until it cooks, and then it should release from the pan, hopefully. All right, so here we go. That's pretty much all you need. You need some also measuring spoons and measuring cups. I have all my stuff measured out for me already, but you guys are going to need your measuring spoons and measuring cups. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with pulsing and basically grinding down your oatmeal. So the reason I'm doing this is so that it's more, I guess, pancakey texture. So that it turns into more of a flour-like consistency than just oatmeal. So I'm going to give this a quick pulse, and you guys will see it turns into a flour. I like mine a little chunkier, so I'm only going to give it a couple pulses. But you guys can see how that oatmeal, it pretty much went from here and dropped down because we turned it into almost an oat flour. You guys see that? All right. So I'm gonna give this one more pulse just so it's less oatmeal-y. All right. So we're good to go on that. That's what we want our consistency of our oatmeal to look like. Is it's almost like a flour. It can be chunkier than a flour, but it is going to be kind of a flour-like texture. That's what you're looking for. So next I'm going to add all of my dry ingredients. So I've got a teaspoon, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and these you can find in your baking aisle in your grocery store. They're different, and they both do different things, but they're both going to basically make these pancakes a little bit fluffier, and just give it more of a pancakey consistency. So we're going to give that, cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of your cinnamon as well. And the numbers and the measurements are on the PDF that should be sharing right now. So download that for specific measurements or watch this replay. So I'm going to give this another pulse just so it mixes completely together. And if you guys are worried about the pumpkin taste, it doesn't really scream pumpkin. Like, it's not like you're eating pumpkin pie pancakes. It just kind of has a hint of that sweetness from the pumpkin, but not like hitting you over the head. So if you're not a huge pumpkin fan, it's not gonna, you know, scream pumpkin pie. If you don't want to do pumpkin, the reason that I have pumpkin is because it is such a nutritious element of these pancakes, and the main reason why it's so fuel packed. If you don't, however, a good substitution could be for you to do sweet potato puree. Same consistency, but it still has some of the similar nutrients, but the pumpkin and the oatmeal is what makes this such a good breakfast for pre-meet, pre-practice, and it's just such a good fuel source that's why I keep using pumpkin. So we've got our cinnamon in. We've got our, if you want to make it a pumpkin pancake, like really pumpkin pie, you can put cinnamon, nutmeg, pumpkin pie spice in here. And that'll make it more pumpkin pie-ish. Also, what I forgot to mention is that we are going to take our stovetop and we're going to put it on about a 3. We're going to turn that on so that the pan gets warm, and then we can just go right into making our pancakes. So back to the batter. So we're back to our batter. So now we're going to start adding our wet ingredients. All right. So we only got 3 of them. We've got our pumpkin puree, our milk, and then our honey. So I'm going to add the pumpkin puree in. It's funny. It reminds me of the ice cream we made a couple sessions ago. The nice cream. So I'm going to add all this. This is 1 cup of pumpkin puree. I'm going to try to scrape all the goodness out because I want all that fuel and I want all that flavor in there. So that's 1 cup of your pumpkin puree. I've got 3/4 cup of milk. So that's going to go in. And this adds protein, this adds calcium, this adds some extra goodness to it. And then I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of honey for sweetness and energy. Because the pumpkin puree doesn't have, if you taste it, it actually doesn't taste that great. Just because it doesn't have any sweeteners in it. So by adding the honey, you're getting some sweetness in there. And then I'll show you guys my favorite topping to these pancakes too when we're done making them. So this is where I'm going to use my little silicone spatula, just to scoop the honey out of there and help that along. All right. So everything is now in our blender. And we're ready to blend it up into our pancake batter. All right. So here we go. And you guys might want to take your same silicone spatula and scrape down the sides so that anything that got stuck, so like any pumpkin puree or any oatmeal that got stuck, you can squish back down, give it one final pulse. And we're good to go. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in a bowl just to show you guys kind of the consistency that we want this at. So, pop that off, and I'll show you guys the consistency. It's very much like your normal pancake batter. So, what we got is I'm going to use my spatula. You see how it's pancake batter, right? So it's got the consistency of what your normal, it's got a little chunk to it just based on the oatmeal because we're not using refined flour. But that's okay because it won't really affect the flavor. you might just get a little bit more texture, which is a-okay for me in my pancakes. Whoopsie. All right. So this is what we're working with, everybody. This is our batter now. And what I like to do is, if I use a measuring cup, what I'll do is I'll actually use the measuring cup as my ladle, as my spoon to spoon it in. Today I am just going to use a big spoon, just so that I can get a good spread on my pancakes. So, all right, now we're on to cooking. So the key with cooking this, everybody, is that this is a low and slow cook. So as you know, with most pancakes too, you gotta wait for the bubbles to come up. It kind of cooks mostly on one side, you flip it, it browns on the other. This, you also want to do that, and you want to make sure it's cooked pretty much 90% through, because if you try to flip it too early, it will just sploosh everywhere. I fought with it a little bit this morning, but I got there. And I'll show you the end result too, and I'll taste it for you guys. So what we're going to do is, I have some coconut oil to put in the pan so that it doesn't just stick and get glued to the bottom. This recipe makes for about 6 small to medium pancakes, and probably 4 large ones. Like, it depends on how you're feeling, what's your mood, how hungry you are, and all that good stuff. So I'm just going to show you guys what I'm doing. So I'm going to put a little bit of that coconut oil. I'm going to take my spatula, and I like to kind of swirl the coconut oil around. The coconut oil is a good alternative to butter, or, you know, just vegetable oil. So if you guys have that on hand, I recommend using that. And what we're going to do is, this is about a 3 or a 4 on the heat scale. So when you turn up your burner, you want it on a 3 or 4. You want it on a medium to low heat. You don't want to nuke them, because the middle is going to be raw if you don't. So we're going to take a nice spoonful. Put that down. Put that down. I'm going to make some like medium ones so that you guys can see. So I like to spread it out so it's not like one big goop. And spread it out to about a pancake size. And then we're just going to let that cook itself out. And you want to make sure that it's golden brown on the bottom, and that you can easily flip it. What we're looking at, what do you want it to look like when we're done? So these are my little bit of chunkier ones that I made this morning that I really had to tell myself not to eat, because I wanted to show you guys what it looked like. But we're working with our pancakes here. This is what we're working with. So good. I did eat one because I needed to taste it and test it for you guys, right? Needed to make sure that my recipe was on before I gave it to you guys. So what I like to do for this, for my topping of choice for these guys. So my favorite thing to do is, actually, I'm going to take my honey that I use in the pancakes and just do a nice little drizzle, like almost like syrup. And if you guys are vegan, use maple syrup in the pancake batter, and you can put it on top as well. I'm also going to put, my second favorite is the same ingredients that were in the pancake, but you take a little bit of cinnamon, and you sprinkle on top just lightly, so you're not doing the cinnamon challenge while you're eating it. And then grab a fork. Oh, I forgot. I have some raspberries to put on top too. You can put some fresh fruit on these, because it's not pumpkin overpowering. You're not going to have to worry about necessarily like flavors like getting all muddled and fighting with that. You can put sliced banana on top. I'm going to put some fresh raspberries on top. You can do strawberries, get some color in there. And this is what we are working with. Ooh, don't lose my computer. But that's what we're working with, guys. These are so good. And Anissa, you can use chocolate chips. I suggest using your dark chocolate chips, because those are going to be less sugar, and they have a little bit of caffeine, natural caffeine from the dark chocolate. And that way you're getting an extra boost of that caffeine and energy hit. So The cinnamon with the honey on top just makes it so good. And then you get the slight sweetness from the pumpkin. And then you get the freshness from the raspberries and the little bit of texture from the oatmeal. So good. So very good. And the cook time on each of these, I would say I left them on really low for about probably 5-10 minutes just to make sure it was cooked all the way through. The bigger the pancake, probably the more time it's going to take to cook through. But once you're done, it's absolutely worth it. And I recommend making these before a practice, so that the night before practice, so that you guys can put them in a baggie, put it in the fridge, and then you can take them out of the fridge, put them on a plate, microwave them, put the toppings on, take them to practice, because these sit well in my stomach. And I know that if anybody has it, like a sensitive stomach like me, these are the way to go before practice, because they're just so good. And they're light, they're not heavy, and they're not liquidy, you know. So all right, so it's so good, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna eat all these. When I make all these, I'm gonna eat all of them. Anyway, Q&A now. Let's do some Q&A. So what questions you guys have for me on these pancakes? Anything about that? All that good stuff? What you got for me, guys? Anybody super excited to make these? Because they're really good and tasty and power-packed full of fuel. Awesome. You guys look like you're pumped to make them, which is so good. You know, guys, these are, again, I keep saying it, but they are fuel-packed, energy-packed, ready to go. And your body will really thank you for making these before morning practice and for meets. So, yeah. All right, what do we got? So questions. So we're going to do, Esther, we're going to do BLT, so bacon, lettuce, tomato, hard-boiled eggs. So we're going to, basically what happens is you're going to take your hard-boiled eggs and put some stuff in, and you got little sandwiches for lunch and snack and all that good stuff. So that's what we're making next week. So tune in next week, guys, to watch that. Lisa, it's up to you. I like to eat 2-ish before practice. Kaylee, I've never made these as waffles. The only thing that I would be concerned with is just making sure that they don't stick to the waffle iron, because they do have a tendency to be a little finicky with the sticking. So if you try it, let me know. And that would be really fun to have too, because they're amazing. You guys can use different squashes, I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't try. The only squash I might try would be a butternut squash. And if that, I would do sweet potato puree. You just have to make sure it's a puree, because if you just do chunks, it's not going to work. So just make sure it's puree. Gordon, does the oatmeal and baking soda trick work for other things? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by other things. Are you talking like muffins? Are you talking about, because you can use, if you play around with the ratio, so if you play around with how much you put into each thing, like muffins and or cookies, you know, if you play around with it, it'll raise it and change it and do other stuff. So play around with it, you know? And yeah, just play around with stuff like that. Bella, I've not tried a fruit puree. You could do bananas. So that is an alternative, guys. If you don't want to do if you really don't want to do sweet potato, you really don't want to do pumpkin, try banana. It would be one medium banana. So that would give you the same kind of result, but with a different flavor. You'd have more banana-y flavor, and you wouldn't get the nutrients from the pumpkin. You'd get the banana nutrients. So that's an alternative. Up to you guys. It smells like pancakes and pumpkin and amazingness in here. I just gave it a flip. So if you guys want to see, I just gave it a flip. And so that we're looking for that golden brown part. And when they are warm, they tend to be a little soft. But when they come off and cool down a little bit, they get a little stiffer. So they're a little bit more pancakey in texture. So awesome. So that being said, everybody, I think you guys know what time it is. If nobody else has any more questions, it's time. Evan, you can use chocolate chips. You can do dark chocolate chips. I would recommend are the most because they have less sugar and a little bit of natural caffeine in them so that you get an extra energy hit and less sugar intake. So that being said, we're going to do the suit giveaway. I've learned to wait a little bit so that it calms down before you guys, because you guys spam hard when it comes to these giveaways. It's impressive. So, goodness gracious. Well, it's so funny because I can't even see names. It's such a blur. All right, everybody stop. Okay, anybody that does it now, we're done. I need to pick one from those that, everybody that, I will scroll through and find a name now, all right? So everybody stop spamming. Everybody stop. All right, all right, all right. All right, everybody stop. All right, we got, let's pick Lara Carrico. Lara Carrico, you are the winner. Lara Carrico, okay? So Lara, you are the lucky winner of the new arena suit. Congratulations. And somebody from Fitter and Faster will be in contact with you about your suit and how you can get it and all that good stuff. All right. So everybody, thank you so much for watching Fitter and Faster Fuel. My name is Cierra Runge. If you make these pancakes, please tag me, tag Fitter and Faster, and I will see you guys next week. All right. Thanks for joining.